All right. So we have been graphing equations in slope-intercept form. So when we're given an equation, we can just look at it and we know right away what is our m and what is our b. We don't really have to dig for it. It's just right there for us. And then we use that information to graph, right? Well, now we are going to be looking at word problems, okay? So we have to use words that could represent m, which is the slope or a rate of change. And we have to use, we're going to have to figure out words that mean b, our y-intercept, when we look at a real-world problem, okay? When you have to pull out that information to be able to graph a linear relationship, we're taking a level 3 skill and turning it into a level 4, okay? So if you can do this at the end of the day, you can do hard things, and that's something to be proud of. So looking, we highlight m and b right here, okay? Because there's words for y and there's words for x, but to graph, we need m and we need b, okay? All right, Trayshawn, read some words that could mean m, the slope, in the real world.
Speed, miles per hour.
Read them all for me.
Rate of change, speed, slope, rise, overrun, miles per hour, dollar per pound, dollar per hour, and per each, or per and each.
Per and each. What word did he say over and over and over again? Per, per, per. When you see the word per in a real world word problem, then you need to know that's a rate, and rate in the real world is my slope, okay? Now, when we graph an equation, we've been doing it, y equals mx plus b. Where do we start when we graph? On the y-axis at the y-intercept. What letter is the y-intercept? B, okay? So these are words that could mean the y-intercept. Look at this, it says starting point. That makes sense because when we graph, we are starting at B. So B, when you go to read these real world problems, B is like an initial value. It's where were we at before the rate started, okay? So, Ashlyn, can you read some of these words? You can look at your own paper. It's probably easier to see. Read all of these for us.
Starting point, minimum free, one-time free, registration free, installation free, flat fee,
An initial fee, okay? So in the real world, your y-intercept is an initial fee. It is a starting point, all right? So go ahead and go to your notes. All right, so I give a little overview here. To graph a line in slope-intercept form, we needed to know the slope and the y-intercept. In the real world, the y-intercept b is the initial value, okay? B, initial value. Where are we starting before the rate begins? Where were we at in whatever the situation before we started the rate, okay? The slope, go to slope now. It's a rate of change in the real world. Slope in the real world is a rate of change. So m can often be identified by words like per and each. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to read each problem and identify the y-intercept. That's your initial value, b. It's the starting point by underlining the word that indicates b if possible and circling the number that represents it. Then identify the rate of change slope by double underlining the words that indicate it is m and circling the number that represents it. Then use b and m to graph the relationship. All right? So anybody want to read the first problem? Go ahead, Bentley. Thanks.
When plugged into a USB charger, cell phones charge at a constant rate. When
Michaela.
her phone, it already had a 15% charge, and her charger changes at a rate of 2.5% per minute.
Okay, her charger charges at a rate of 2.5 per minute. Okay, so B is where was she at when she plugged in the phone? Go ahead, Shanari. 15. Okay, that's your starting point. It had a 15% charge. And then your rate. a rate of, go ahead, Ashlyn. 2.5. Very good. And what word there, besides the word rate, the obvious one, would indicate a rate, Tavia?
Per.
Very good. Perfect. Per. Okay, so our M then is 2.5. All right, now we have to graph it. We know that we start at B. B is 15. Okay, so go to your graph. Do we start on the x-axis or the y-axis when we graph?
The Y.
Very good, the y. So go to the y. Which axis is that, vertical or horizontal? Vertical. Perfect. All right. And then we use our M. Our M is 2.5%. 2.5. What do we need M to be so that we can rise and run? A fraction. Okay, a fraction. Now, I know you, ooh, I see a lot of you going to your calculator. Good. Go ahead, Liz. What did you got?
2.5.
You got 2 1/2. Those are three different numbers, right? We need a rise and a run, so we just need 2 numbers. So can you turn that into an improper fraction? Green, ABC.
I mean, 5.
5 over 2. Perfect. Okay, so that gives us our rise and our run. It's positive, so we're rising which direction? Up. And we are running. Now, before you get started on this graph, pay attention to the scale. Look at your rise. When you rise, what is the scale on the y-axis? What are we counting by? 5s. So when I go to rise, I need to count by what?
5.
By 5s, and I'm going up 5. So I'm only going up 1 unit because 1 unit is 5. But now check the scale on the x-axis because that's different. What is the x-axis counting by? 1s. So we actually need to go over 2 times. 1, 2. Takes 2 points to graph a line. So go ahead and put that second point. Take your rulers. Extend that line all the way. Because then it helps you read. It helps you read the graph. Trayshawn, why might you want to know how long it takes your phone to charge? Your mom's got to pick you up after your basketball game. Wouldn't it be important to know how long you need to put that phone on the charger so you can get a hold of her? Slope in the real world. All right. All right, go to the next one. Braylon, you mind reading this for us? Number 2. Oh, turn the page. This way.
A tub drains at a constant rate. There are 30 gallons of water in the tub. When Jose starts to drain it, the tub drains at 12 gallons per minute.
Okay, the tub drains. What's happening to the water if a tub is draining? It's going down, okay? So what does that mean about our slope if it's going down? It's negative, okay? So M has to be negative. So before we even talk about what M is, let's talk about how it's negative because the tub is draining, okay? All right, so there are 30 gallons of water in the tub when Jose starts. So what is your starting point? 30. What word indicates the starting point?
It says, in the tub.
Well, look, in the tub when Jose does what? Starts, when he starts. So obviously that's our starting point. All right, the tub drains then at 12 gallons per. There's our magic word, per. So that is our rate. So negative 12 is your slope, 30 is your B, your initial value, your starting point. So let's graph it. We have to start at B. B is 30. On the y-axis, class, go to 30. Okay, it's draining. So we have negative 12. We need a fraction. How do you write negative 12 as a fraction? Go ahead. Say it again, Ashlyn. A 1 under it, perfect. Okay? So we have a rise number and a run. How do you rise when it's negative? You go down. Okay? And then the run is positive, so we go right. Check that scale going down. What's it counting by? 2. So what do we have to do? We got to count by 2s. All right, so go ahead and go down 12, counting by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Then run. Look at your run. Look at your X. What's it counting by?
1.
So we just really need to go 1 unit. Connect your dots, your points. Okay. Let's see if you can answer a question about this graph. About how long would it take to drain the tub? Look, here's my water. The line represents it draining. How long is it going to take to drain it, Francis? Say it again. About 3. Yeah, about 3 minutes. Good job. All right, here we go. Turn the page. Here's what we're going to do now. For 30 seconds, you're going to read the problem to yourself. Okay? You can't talk to anybody for 30 seconds. Then you're going to determine the slope and the y-intercept. You need to determine the m and the b. Okay? When that timer goes off, you'll have 1 minute to talk about it with your partner. Okay? Y'all need to have, if y'all have different answers, you need to discuss who's right. Defend yourself with this right here. Find words that prove which one of you is correct. Okay? Then have a discussion about who's going to come up here if you land. I'm going to spin a spinner, and you're going to come text mark this for us and talk to the class. Who's going to talk about the slope? Who's going to talk about the y-intercept? Y'all need to decide that. So if your partner is unsure of what's going on right now, help them understand. So for 30 seconds, you are on your own. 30 seconds. You can go ahead and start reading while I set this timer. You are not talking. Okay, now you can begin talking to each other. You need to make sure y'all have the same answers. If they don't match, talk about it. All right, talk to me. B is a starting point. What is she going to pay before the rate starts? Look, 4 and each. Each is a rate word, okay? So she purchased the app. Before she starts downloading music, what does she have to do? So what does she have to do before she starts downloading music? She has to buy the app, right? Okay, perfect. So that's your B. Okay? And then M, when you see a word like each, go ahead and underline that for me. That's a rate word, and slope is a rate, right? Okay, so what is our M? Okay, go ahead. Now, if it calls on you, you comfortable with what you got to say? You don't know? Okay, that's okay. Yes, are y'all talking to each other then? Okay, discuss who's going to, if y'all get called, who's going to talk about what? But yes, your answers are good. I'll tell you. Okay, so I'm going to spin a spinner, and whatever group comes up, it lands on is going to come up. I'll let you know which. Oh, that was lame. Let's do it again, okay? It didn't really give us the spin we were looking for, did it? Takes the fun out of it. 2. That's you guys. You're the lucky winners. Okay, so I would love it Listen, this is a good life skill, public speaking, let me tell you. Okay? So right here, what I want you to do, you're just going to come up and you're going to circle B. One of you is going to circle B. And you're going to tell the class why you chose that. What makes that the B. Then the other one of you is going to circle your slope, your M, and underline what word makes that your rate. So come on. Come on up. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Sometimes he doesn't. Okay, go ahead, Kristen. What did you just pick and why? Face your classmates here.
I paid $4.
Okay, what is 4? Are you saying that's B or M?
I think 4 is M.
Okay. So it's a rate. What word? So the word.
Each.
Okay, very good. So for M, go ahead and put a 4. Go ahead. Right here. Right here. Okay, so M is 4. Okay, Bentley, your turn. What is the starting point? 5. Write it. Circle it. Okay. Write it there for B. Face your classmates. What makes that the starting point?
I'm gonna be honest, because I already knew that 4 was M, and I just saw 5, and then I put S for B.
That is a strategy, you guys. He said, I know that each or per is my rate. So I know that M is 4. And the only other number is 5. Perfect. Does anybody, y'all have a seat. That was great. Okay. Does anybody know how to explain why 5 is the starting point? Anybody want to take a shot at it? Go ahead, Shanari.
I think it was 5 because it was the first number on the.
Okay, I would not count on that strategy because sometimes they will say the slope before they say the y-intercept. So that's not a great strategy because it could fail you. Bentley's strategy, that will work all the time, but be careful with that strategy. Go ahead, Liz.
Me and my daughter picked 5 because it's the starting point and.
What makes it the starting point is the question. What do you have to do before you can download music?
You have to buy something.
You have to buy the app, right? Yes, she purchased it. Okay, so before she starts downloading music, she had to purchase it. All right, now let's go ahead and graph this. All right, so we said that she purchased it. That's the starting point. The rate is 4. To graph, you start at B on the y-axis. So where the y-axis is vertical, go to 5. And then our slope, Bentley, Kristen, the slope is 4. How do I write that as a fraction? How do I write 4 as a fraction? Come on, put that away. How do I make this a fraction?
You put a 1.
You put a 1 under it, yes. Okay. Okay, so that gives us a rise and a run. So from the starting point, rise 4. The scale is by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Connect your dots with your ruler. Extend it all the way. Put an arrow at the end because it goes on forever. We're good?
Yes.
Cool. All right, let's go to the next problem. Turn the page. Same process. 30 seconds to yourself. Think it through yourself. You want me to read anything? Okay. So, which one's the rate? Let's try M first. Put the words that could be M. Do you see that word? You did. You underlined it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that there for M. Okay. Way to prove it, Ashlyn. Way to prove it. Ooh, y'all are moving ahead. Good. Very good. Great job, Mila. What you got, Francis? Perfect. You know why what is what? Okay. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. Let's see who the next contestant is.
Imagine landing on us again, bro. I'm watching us in class.
Woohoo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's Tavia and Ashlyn. Come on up. Oh, here, let's get the pencil. Okay, now give it a shot. Okay, try to talk about it while you're doing it.
Okay, so this would equal the M because per, it said per is a keyword. So,
Okay, so there's a decimal in front of it.
oh, yeah.
Perfect. That is beautiful. She saw that per. She knows that is a key word, that word means a rate, and the rate is slope, which is M. Perfect. Okay, Ashlyn, what you got?
$10 because it has shipping fee.
A shipping fee, a flat fee. That is, you're paying that regardless. If I order 5 prints or 100 prints, I am paying that $3. Okay? So let's talk about graphing. I'm actually, we'll get you going, and I'd like to give you a minute to graph it on your own. Okay, so they had said that $3 is a flat fee. You're paying it regardless. No matter how many prints you buy, the price depends on how much you buy. That is your rate. Okay, if we're going to graph this, we know we have to start at our starting point, which is B, and then we have to use our slope, M, to rise and run. If I'm going to rise and run, I need a fraction, Liz. What is 0.25? 1/4. How did you know that? So you used your calculator?
Yeah.
Can anybody explain how why 0.25 is 1/4 without a calculator, Braylon?
Because 0.25 is like if you times it by 4 and it'll add up to 1, which is a whole.
Okay, so what is 0.25 called? Think about money.
Oh, it's a quarter.
It's a quarter, right? What is 1/4? A quarter. Okay, good. All right, so you know how to graph. We learned how to graph, so you know everything you need to know. I want you to take a moment to graph it and then compare your graph with your friends. Liz, I would love for you to graph it right here on the board. Yeah, you got this. Okay, and Eli, you want to come graph right here? No? Okay, that's fine. Francis, do you mind coming up and graphing it here? As they're doing that, we'll be able to compare the two of theirs. Okay? The rest of you should be graphing on your desk. At your paper. And then you should be talking to each other after you graph it to make sure your graph and your friend's graph looks the same. Okay, now connect them. That's perfect. Good job. Francis, come back real fast. This line goes on forever, okay? That's a line segment. This too. And the arrow means it goes on forever. Put an arrow on the end of those. Good job, Francis. Liz, wait, come here. I know we've been working on one. No, it's good. I mean, it's a little crooked, but we get the point. Okay, so let's make this a full line. So extend it through. It's okay. Look. Go ahead. Okay, put an arrow on the end of it. Okay, great job. Okay, so you've all had a chance to graph it. Let's look up here. This is why we use a straight edge, right? But then sometimes that's hard too. All right, so Francis did it here. Liz did it there. They look the same. Okay, you go up 3, 1, 2, 3. I mean, to the y-intercept, positive 3. Then you're rising 1 and running 4. Okay, perfect. All right, so since they already graphed it, we're good. If yours looks like that. Go to your Nearpod, please. We're going to assess your understanding. Okay? We're going to assess your understanding. Go to Nearpod. This is just like what we did today. This is a grade, though. Listen to Miss Stein. It is one word problem. Okay? 3 questions. The first question, what is B? What is your y-intercept? What is the starting place? Okay? The second one, what is M? What is your slope? Okay? What is your rate? And then the third question, what do y'all think you're going to have to do third? Graph it. All right. Go ahead and get in. Are we all in? Okay. Question 1. It says, what is the value, the y-intercept B? If you click on this, it will zoom in on the problem so that you can see what the problem is. So first it's asking for B, that initial value. Is that the second one? Okay. Zoom back in here. All right. The initial value. It's a starting point. How did you know that? Why did you change your mind? At the... What's that word right there?
Oh, starting point.
Okay. When you finish the first one, go to the second one. That's the slope. What is the rate? Look at your resources. Look at your equation keywords. We talked about rate. M is a rate. Words like per and each. Everybody finished? With those part? Okay. So let's see how we did. 100% correct. Let me tell y'all something. My goal was 75% of you. So y'all exceed my expectations. Y'all do that every day. That is amazing. I could actually cry right now. Good job. Y'all give yourself a clap. Clap that out. Yeah, 100%. All right, well, let's prove we can graph it now. Look, that's the part, though, that makes this a level 3 versus a level 4. Okay? So build that confidence. Y'all got this. Draw it. Okay, y'all already proved to me you could do this, so I'll go ahead and give you the information you're looking at. You said that 3 was your starting point, which is your B, and your M, the word per, is equal to 3 over 2. So continue with your graphing. Great job. Here, use this. It'll be easier. That's what's up, Trey. That's what's up. All right, let's see what some of these look like. Angel, this is beautiful right here. Beautiful. All right. You start up on the 3. 1, 2, 3. That's your starting point. Then you use your slope to rise and run. You go up 3 and over 2. And this is what your line should look like. Very good, guys. I am so impressed. That was perfect. Okay? All right. So we will pick up there where we left off. We'll pick up there tomorrow. Okay?